All my best friends represent vertebrates. Now that you've learned about each vertebrate group, you know about how many characteristics that taxonomists use to classify these animals. Who wants to try naming the 5 groups of animals that make up vertebrates in the animal kingdom? Why do scientists classify organisms? Because there are so many living things on Earth, it gives scientists a way of studying them by showing their relationships. And how do they classify them? They look for common or shared characteristics. What are some of these common characteristics? You've learned that some animals are warm-blooded while others are cold-blooded. Some are vertebrates while others are invertebrates. You've also learned that there are many other ways to classify animals into smaller and smaller groups. The scientific classification system, which is a taxonomy, uses these names: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species, which describes the groups from largest to kingdom, and then smallest all the way down to species. When they classify animals, taxonomists compare and contrast animal habitats, physical characteristics, skin coverings, feeding habits, and reproduction. Today we're going to look at 7 different locations on planet Earth, one on each of the continents of the world. We can use our new skills to practice classifying a few of the animals that live in each place. First stop, the American desert. Here are some examples of the animals you might find in North American desert: the western diamondback rattlesnake, the Gila woodpecker, the desert bighorn sheep in the background, the roadrunner, the banded Gila monster, the bobcat, and the turkey vulture. Just by looking at these animals, are you able to classify them? The bobcat and the sheep are both covered in fur, so we know that those must be mammals. What about the Gila monster? It's a reptile, one of only 2 venomous lizards in America. What kind of animal is the rattlesnake? The rattlesnake is down here, which is also covered in scales. It's a reptile, you're right, and this is also venomous as well. And it's one of the few reptiles that gives birth to live young. Great job! Let's move on to the Amazon rainforest in South America. Native to the rainforest are the spotted jaguar, the green anaconda, the 3-toed sloth, the red-bellied piranha, the blue and yellow macaw, the red-toed tarantula, and the caiman, which looks kind of like a small crocodile. The anaconda and the caiman are both covered in scales. The bird should be an easy one to spot. The only one with wings and feathers is the macaw. And the piranha should be similar to all of you because he is Pablo's fish relative. The jaguar and sloth both belong to the same group. Who can name that group? You're right. They're mammals because they are covered in fur. As you have learned as well, mammals give birth to live babies. Does this dark, hairy spider belong to one of the vertebrate groups we've studied? Spider is right down here. Does he belong to one of them? No, because he is an invertebrate. It's cold-blooded, and it has an exoskeleton and is a member of the arachnid group. Let's look at some of the animals that make their home high in the alpine mountains of Europe. What do you see in the background, there on the rocks? The rock ptarmigan lives in the Alps. So does the black alpine salamander, the marmot, the golden eagle, the Apollo butterfly, and the pine marten. Which one do you think is not a member of any of the vertebrate groups we studied? Yes, the butterfly, which is right down here, is an invertebrate and is classified in the largest group of animals on Earth, which, do you remember, was insects. The black alpine salamander shares characteristics with both a lizard and a frog. Think about how you would classify it. It's a moist-skin amphibian, but an unusual one that lives only on land and gives birth to fully developed young. What two-legged, furry, or feathered animals do you see? Do you see any two-legged, furry, feathered animals? Yes, the birds pictured are of a golden eagle. In mammals, are there any fur-covered creatures in the Alps? Yes, the marmot and the pine marten. Nice work. The Ganges Delta of India on the continent of Asia is home to swamps, forests, and creeks. The animals that live there include the black-crowned night heron, the wild boar, the olive ridley turtle, the Ganges River dolphin, the Indian python, the blue-eared kingfisher, the mugger crocodile, and the chital. Can you spot the cold-blooded reptiles here? You bet. The crocodile, the turtle, and the python are all representations of the reptile group. Which ones are warm-blooded mammals? Good. The boar, wild pig, the chital, a common deer of the area. The polluted waters of the Ganges River have ruined the habitat for a number of animals, and this river dolphin is endangered because of the river's pollution. Only one of 4 river dolphin species in the world. It is a mammal, just like its ocean-loving relatives. The Ganges River dolphin is sometimes called the blind dolphin. Each of its eyes lacks a lens to give it a clear vision, but it still uses its eyes to help it find direction. And of course, our feathered friends in the sky, the kingfisher and the heron, are both birds. I bet you've seen pictures of the many large game animals that make their homes in the savanna of Africa. They include the giraffe, the elephant, the hyena, the wild beast, the lion, the zebra, and the impala. All of these animals belong to the same group of vertebrate animals. Do you know what they are? Yes, mammals. Birds like the hornbill and the kilaa live here as well. And venomous reptiles, snakes like the gaboon and the black mamba, are deadly to their prey in the savannas. The Great Barrier Reef of Australia is home to many different sea animals. Animals here include the bottlenose dolphin, the blue-spotted stingray, the box jellyfish, the black-tipped reef shark, and the leatherback sea turtle. Is the jellyfish a fish? Who remembers? No. In spite of its name, the jellyfish is an invertebrate, remember, because it has no backbone. And also, it does not have any gills. Be sure to notice the jellyfish has long tentacles. You can see them right here. The sea turtle belongs to the reptile group, and you probably remember that the dolphin is a milk-producing mammal that breathes with its lungs. How about the shark? Is that a fish? You're right, it is a fish because it breathes through its gills and, unlike the dolphin, does not provide milk for its young. And the stingray? That's a fish too because it's a relative of the shark. Is the clownfish that we see right here, is that a fish? You're right, it is a fish because it is called the clownfish with its colorful markings, and it lives along the trenches of another invertebrate. Finally, let's look at Antarctica, the southernmost continent and one of the coldest places on Earth. Emperor penguins live in its icy waters along with blue whales and humpback whales. Leopard seals and snow petrels spend half the year in darkness in this frozen coastal region. Only 2 vertebrate animal groups are found in the land in Antarctica. What are they? That's right, mammals and birds. You learned that these two groups also share another common characteristic as well. Mammals and birds are both warm-blooded. The energy in the food they eat is used to warm their bodies and keep them from freezing. These Antarctic animals survive in harsh frozen conditions and they are largely dependent on krill, which are tiny shrimp-like crustaceans with exoskeletons that live in the waters beneath the ice packs. They are the primary or main source of food for the predators of Antarctica. As you can imagine, living in the extreme cold of Antarctica presents a major challenge to cold-blooded animals. A few fish have adapted in an interesting way to survive in the cold waters surrounding Antarctica. The ice fish has a special chemical in it that acts like an antifreeze and keeps the animal from freezing. A few invertebrates have found other interesting ways to survive the cold temperatures of Antarctica. Some might survive by living in the fur of mammals or in the feathers of birds, close to the warmth of their warm-blooded hosts. Now you've seen a sample of the animals that live on each of the 7 continents. There are so many interesting facts about Earth's animals. Before I go, let's each share one interesting fact that you've learned about vertebrate animals. Think for a moment about the interesting fact that you want to share. Go ahead and share when you're ready the fact that you have learned about vertebrates. It's been so much fun for me to be with you again. I'm so proud of all that you've learned about the animal kingdom over the past few days. I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. In the meantime, I encourage you to keep your eyes open. As you see an animal or read about an animal, think about how you would classify it. Next time we're together, perhaps you can tell me about your discoveries. Until then, goodbye.